Hey guys, it's Mike and I'm back here in our Syntropic Agroforestry system. For the past few days we've been doing our spring intervention and we're finally done. All the clearing, pruning, fertilizing, mulching, and even planting. So in this video we're going to show you the start to finish and everything in between. Before we get into this video, I want to tell you guys about this mental performance drink I've been taking every morning. It's called Magic Mind. You're supposed to take it for a minimum 5 to 7 days to feel effects, which is exactly what happened. Around day actually 4 or 5, I was starting to notice I was in a better mood. I had better energy, and not the kind of energy you get from coffee. It was more like I just didn't feel tired. Also, I found myself procrastinating less. I was starting to clean the house randomly, which Paulina really enjoyed. I felt so good that I think I overworked myself. So for a couple days after like the first week, I was feeling a bit tired and like, oh man, this isn't working. But after like a couple nights good rest, I was actually doing this orchard, doing all the intervention. And when I finished, I should have been tired, but I felt great. I felt like in such a good mood. I had enough energy to play with Milo, which I love. Sometimes when I'm finished with work, I'm like, oh, I just want to sit down. But it's great to be able to play with my son after work. So in this video, we're also going to be giving a 15 pack of these away so you can try it. It's going to go to 2 lucky people actually. And we're going to be making another video for another contest. But this contest, we're going to tell you about how to enter at the end of this video. So you got to stick around for the whole video. Give them a try. All the information is going to be in the description. If you guys are interested, you should definitely check it out. So here's what the system looked like before the spring intervention. As you can see, lots of grass, tall grass in the rows. I do mow in between the rows, that's why it's short, about every 2 weeks. Here we have some lemongrass in our mulch row that doesn't grow a whole lot of mulch yet. We have pineapples in there right now. But as soon as these pineapples are done producing, I will be removing them and replacing them with some more Mexican sunflower, just so we have more mulch for our citrus trees. This here is our first row on the top, and it's mostly mulched with albizia. I do use some of the Gliricidia from that mulch row, but now we also have bananas growing in here. These have been in here for about a year, so now we're getting banana mulch, along with a good highway for the ants. Nice. And some papayas here. It's really starting to take off, be productive.
The papayas that we've been harvesting from the Syntropic orchard have been so delicious. They're like really, really sweet and have a great flavor and texture compared to the other ones that we have growing on the property. These ones are doing amazing.
Is it good?
Yeah. It's kind of like strawberry papaya.
Thank you.
This is our second tree row from the top. It's filled with mostly navel oranges. And as you can see, this Mexican sunflower is smothering it. Here's another navel orange in that same row, and it is one of our better trees. One thing I noticed, it's just surrounded by albizia, and they're definitely not hurting it in any way. Here's some kalo that we have growing in the understory of our mulch row. They definitely had a really slow start, but they're starting to look much better, and after we clean them all up and mulch them, I'm pretty sure they're going to be taken off. If you remember in our last video, we pruned these Gliricidia heavily, and as you can see, they bounced back really well. We did plant cassava in 2 of our tree rows. One of them we harvested and ate. The other one we left in as mulch. This one's just been coming back over and over. Here we are just walking through all this Mexican sunflower. I'm really glad we have this here because now that we don't have the crotalaria lining the rows, we need something to replace that. Here's a 6-month-old hedgerow of Mexican sunflower. Really producing a lot of mulch now. Looking fantastic. This is our last row here, the bottom, and this one had bananas from the beginning. We've already gotten 3 racks, and this will be our 4th. Hard to say, but I think we have a couple more weeks till it's ripe. So the day before I did the intervention, I came through with the weed whacker. I was doing some other parts of the property, so I just did this at the same time. It really didn't take very long to do this section, just going up and down the rows, pretty much just on the edges. Some of the spots that were easy to get to, I just went in a little bit to make it easier in the long run here. But I know some people mention use a scythe, but it's really not that hard to do it this way either. If you know what you're doing, it is kind of dangerous to get close to the trees, but if you use the guard on the weed whacker, it helps a lot, and you're most likely not gonna wrap around the tree. But I would be careful if you are a beginner. No, this is not how fast I usually weed whack. It is sped up to 4x speed, but how nice would that be if I can move this fast? So this is the next day here, and I put my mom on a job that I really hate doing, which is weeding around the pineapples. Just digging around in the dirt here, checking out, see how the soil's doing. It is holding moisture, even though we've been in pretty much drought. So that's good. Check this out. Looking like got some good mycelium in there. Good organic matter. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just pull back the old mulch there and just pull out any weeds. The weeds are really coming out easy now that there's a good thick mulch layer breaking down there. The roots are just like in really loose soil, so they're easy to take out. The soil's not compacted in here, which makes it really easy for this process. I remember the first couple times doing this, it was a real pain. There's like tons of grass in there, like a mat, and it was really not easy. Also, just taking some of the moss off the bark, not a bad idea. Here we come with just some chicken manure this time. I usually put our biochar and blend it, but this time I was just keeping it simple. Then next step here, I'm gathering some of the Mexican sunflower. This is kind of the majority of what we have right now, although we have some other stuff too. Just laying it down there. You want to definitely cover any fertilizer you put down. That way it just like lasts longer. The rain doesn't wash it out as much. You get like more of a trickle through the mulch, and just helps the fertilizer to last longer. Just keep piling up that mulch. As much as we got, I'm putting it on there. I want to cover these really well. And there's more. We just keep piling it on. Look at this thing. I don't really know what this tree is called. I just call it big leaf. Somebody once told me that, and I've never found out the real name. So if you do know, let me know in the comments. It's pretty abundant here. You see a lot along the highway. And I don't know, just interested in what it's actually called. This is the only one on our property, so I really haven't looked into it too much. Right here, I decided I got to start working faster, so I've already put down the chicken manure and just getting started with some more of that Mexican sunflower. We do have a couple other things put down here, some Glaracidia leaf, some banana pseudostem and leaves, and also that whole back row of albizia I'm thinning out, so we do have some of that mulch. I don't think I used it on this tree, but you can see what I'm doing here with these leaves is cutting them up really small. If you've ever got your weed whacker stuck in a banana leaf, you know why. But also it helps the rain to penetrate through and not like be like a tarp, because the banana leaves are kind of flat and big. Yeah, right here I am just thinning out this back row of albizia. Now that they're getting bigger, I need less of them. And this has been kind of an experiment. I knew it was going to happen. when we started that a lot of albizia were going to just pop up as volunteers. So there's tons of them around and the seeds just drop. So I didn't have to plant this row. I wouldn't recommend planting albizia, but if it's going to just drop in my yard, might as well utilize it while you can. It produces such a great mulch. The wood, the leaves, breaks down fast, creates a lovely shade for the trees. So I don't know how long it'll last here. For now we're just experimenting with it. Really easy to process too. You can see I just broke it with my knee and just can pretty much almost process these with no tools. I mean, I needed the saw to cut it, but now I'm just breaking them up and feeding them to this banana. You know, win-win. So since those Gliricidia really bounced back and already starting to block out a lot of the light, I figured I'd cut a few more branches off them. It just, I feel like by the time summer comes around, it's going to just be blacked out. I mean, we do want some shade, but we don't want that much. So I went ahead and cut some of the Gliricidia, especially the ones that are on the side, because that's the light I do want to let in, the side light. The one we're trying to block is the midday. So kind of trying to leave the overhead branches there and then cut more of the side so we get the morning light and afternoon light. But that midday is the one we want to try to block out a little bit, not too much, obviously. So here's one. We just have really a good variety of mulches here. Right there you can see there's some canna lilies and the Gliricidia, albizia, some banana stem there. It's really what we want, you know, a variety of mulches that are going to have different textures and break down at different rates, have different nutrient profiles. Here we go, just throwing some more bananas, cutting them really fine. This is kind of fun to do with the sickle. It works really well. Just chop them up like you're some kind of chef, like a master chef. Just check out this log here. Just disintegrated. I don't even think it's been there very long. You know, definitely less than a year. I'm pretty sure it's like gunpowder or something, the tree. So now we got here the backup crew, Milo. He's definitely loving mulching. He talks about mulch all the time. He comes with me on first Saturday to get the mulch. And just everything about mulch he really loves. We are definitely a mulch loving family and just loves to play in the orchard with us and loves to help anytime he could.
Yeah. And get the other one. You can get it.
Here we go, picking up one of those banana logs we threw down last time, checking out underneath. It definitely keeps the soil wet and they're decomposing really well. The microbes are just loving that kind of stuff, and Milo's gonna fertilize the tree. Can't really spread it very well, so he just puts it in a pile there, and then we take it by hand and just spread it around evenly.
Back up a little bit, gotta get from behind you. Yeah. Pull it over there.
The fertilizer.
Fertilizer. Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna put mulch. All right.
When the banana logs are small like this, skinny, they're actually pretty easy to split with just the sickle, which is nice. You don't have to pull out an extra tool, the machete. So right behind this tree where I am, there's a row of Mexican sunflower. It's not doing as good as that other row, which is weird because it was planted earlier, but the reason why I believe is that row is definitely more shaded, and there's one thing the sunflower needs a lot of, and that's sun. So also, as we were doing the management on this row, we thinned out some of those trees that were shading the Mexican sunflower, and even the bananas that are in this row. We're doing quite a number on them, producing probably way too much shade for their liking. So hopefully by letting a little more light in there, they are going to be doing much better. We are relying heavily on the Mexican sunflower as our main source of mulch right now in this orchard. So got to get the production way up. Here we are the next day. As you can tell, I have a different color shirt on. And we have already finished the tree rows yesterday, so today we're just going to be mulching the pineapples. This is our mulch row, even though it doesn't have much mulch besides the Gliricidia right now. We took out the pigeon pea and what crotalaria was in there. So now it's just basically pineapples, papayas, and Gliricidia. But just adding a little fertilizer is just really just a couple bucks, so definitely worth putting it down just so they do better. You get better pineapples and better papayas. Since we did take out our crotalaria rows, we have a lot less mulch than we used to, so we are supplementing with some of the county mulch. This I decided to use just on our mulch row, ironically, but the only thing in our mulch row right now as far as mulch is the Gliricidia. Everything else is either this calo here or the pineapple, and actually the papayas too. Once these calo are finished and the pineapple, we are going to start to grow much more mulch in this row. Probably Mexican sunflower if I had to guess. But for now, I'd rather just put this county mulch. It will definitely help keep the weeds out, and eventually our citrus roots are going to be getting to this area. So it's not a waste at all starting to build really good soil here by bringing in some external inputs here. What I'm doing here is just snipping the tips off of the pineapple. We really don't want anyone poking their eye out, especially Milo. They're right at his eye level. And then also just clipping these down at the bottom, all the ones that are just really making it hard to get the mulch in there. You know, if the mulch covers them, they're probably going to rot, and just clipping them off, making it a whole lot easier to mulch. So now that the pruning and mulching is all done, we're going to be planting some more things, and pretty much just some more Mexican sunflower. Although we do have a good amount, we need a lot more. So I'm going to be planting 20 more in a row down near the bottom row where the bananas are. I really like this spacing of 2 feet, so we're going to go ahead and use it again. The process for planting these is pretty easy. You're just poking a hole with the o'o and then putting a little bit of dirt on top there. This is just Hamakua soil. We are going to be throwing some chicken manure on top as we plant them. And that's not really required, but I really want these to grow fast. So a little bit of chicken manure is going to go a long way in helping these grow really fast. So definitely worth it to put some fertilizer on. After the fertilizer, we just cover it again with some dirt. Get that fertilizer down under. Definitely helps to make it last longer. You definitely don't have to use county mulch, but why not? It's going to make it a lot easier, especially the first time around pruning them. There's not going to be as much grass around them. We won't have to, weed around each individual one. Hopefully, it's going to also preserve moisture and make that fertilizer last a bit longer. It just wasn't much work. I think it's well worth it to give these sunflowers a good head start. And that's pretty much a wrap. We got a few days after our intervention. The mulch is drying out. It's been super dry here, but it is holding in some moisture. And look at these pineapples. This will be the first year we're getting pineapples. They probably all should have had pineapples, but a lot of them were pretty small, cakey, so that's probably why we didn't get all pineapples this year. Yeah, look at that mulch. Pretty good thick layer there. Much cleaner look. We're letting a lot more light in. These trees should be happy up until summer, and then we're going to be doing it all over again. The more I work in this system, the more I love it, and I do try to give as much information for free online, but we also offer consultation, mentorship programs, and even installations. If you're someone who is interested in that, please email us at aloha.offgridhawaii@gmail.com. The email is in the description if you want to check out that. Logs here. One last final touch here. We went to a festival at Maku'u the other day and got some kalo keikis to plant. It was a great time. We were able to pound the poi and just have a good time there, get some motivation to plant more kalo. And something I used to do a lot more of, and so now I think I'm going to get back into it. So that's it for this video. If you guys do want to enter the contest, all you got to do is you got to be a subscriber. So subscribe. You got to write in the comments why you want the shot, and you got to share this video on Facebook.